Hey guys, it's Merce. Welcome back to Harpies in the Trees, where I review horror books with a supernatural focus. So guys, 2,000 subscribers for my little weird book channel that I do here. It's just really, it's really awesome. I can't thank you guys enough. I mean, I just really appreciate all your comments and participating on YouTube and also Instagram. I really want to do more and more things. I think most of my life I really wanted some type of way to express all of the things that I wanted to do. When I was a musician, you know, there were things that I was trying to do, trying to pull them together to make more fuller experiences. I really would like to do that with this channel too, which is, you know, reading these stories written by these authors who just, you know, spend a huge chunk of their time and effort and energy and imagination coming up with all of these stories and taking inspiration from those and kind of taking those ideas and concepts. Like when I do makeup interpretations of the characters that I'm reading, or like I'm doing these film trailers for my Halloween special. I also did a short film a while back called Miss Fallow that was based on a Matthew J. Kirby book called A Taste for Monsters. So I've already kind of been dabbling, I think, a little bit in creating that visual format and then doing the creepy reads, which has the oral format of like me reading and Foley and ambiance and stuff like that. So that is really what I want to do with this channel, is just kind of create experiences. So I'm hoping, you know, as time goes on that I'll be able to do those. So that's thanks to you guys. It really is. Like, if nobody cared, I think that I would still be doing stuff, but I don't think I would be doing it at the rate that I'm doing it. I don't think I would be challenging myself as much as I am now. And it gives me fuel. It really does, that creative fuel. And if you're a creative person, then you understand what it's like, or maybe you're a person who, you know, gets high on adrenaline or something. It's like you kind of get hooked on those endorphins. And for me, creativity is definitely an endorphin, and it makes you feel really happy. So thank you guys so much. I put together just a little tiny spooky clip for you guys to say thank you, and I hope you enjoy it. So I can't guarantee that the demon did return where they were supposed to go after this video we made, but I'll let you know if anything strange happens. So we're gonna do just a couple message shout outs and then we'll get into the review. The last video was The Patient by Jasper DeWitt, and Alex Gray says, "This marks the 6th book I have added to my TBR this year solely based on your awesome review videos. I just want to thank you for that." Thank you so much for watching. It means a lot to me that you're finding books that are interesting for you, and I can be of assistance with that. So that's really cool. Thank you. And Jasper DeWitt says, who is the author of The Patient, "Hey, thank you so much for reviewing my book. I'm so glad you enjoyed it, and I hope to live up to your kind words with my future work. I'm sure whatever you're working on next will be awesome, and I can't wait to read it." So thank you guys for your comments. Let's get into Secrets in the Dark. Our story begins with Doran and Claire in the kitchen of the Winterbourne house. It's a large kitchen, it's dark, it has a fireplace, and they're heating up some soup, something which they do have plenty of because it comes in cans. As they're preparing their meal for the night, a voice comes into the atmosphere, and Claire recognizes the voice right away. It's her older sister, Beth, who she hasn't talked to in weeks. Beth and Claire are extremely happy to hear each other's voices, to know that each other are still both alive somewhere. Beth is in her bunker, and Claire is in a rural area surrounded by woods and snow, and she's there with Doran, the son of the family who owns the house. Claire and Doran have been living in Winterbourne for a few weeks. Something very cataclysmic has happened to the world. There is no longer any communications, and the weather has been extremely dangerous. It's extremely cold, and the snow just doesn't stop. So essentially, they are trapped in their house. However, that is not the only thing that traps Claire and Doran. It's the Hollows. The Hollows who live in the woods. And not only do they live in the woods, they've also breached the house. So Claire and Doran only have a few rooms that are safe enough for them to be in. At some point, Beth is no longer communicating with Claire, and Claire confides to Doran that she has to go. She has to go to find her sister. And whatever she finds, that's just what it'll be, but she has to go. And Doran agrees. So they begin this extremely dangerous road trip in an environment that is so hostile to humans. It's basically a death wish. But Claire must go. And Doran really doesn't want to be without her by his side. And that's how our story begins. It's different than Voices in the Snow, because in Voices in the Snow, we're mainly dealing with Claire and Doran in the mansion. And in Secrets in the Dark, we're going on this survival horror road trip. And we go through so many emotions. There's so many things that happen that are so difficult. It's creepy, and it's chilling, and it's suspenseful. And it has so many really just interesting things that are happening in this story that are so cool. We get to learn more about the Hollows in this book. We get to see what the country looks like outside of Winterbourne. And Claire and Doran's relationship is really challenged. For one, they're starving, they're stressed, they're dirty, they are scared to death. You know, they are just in this constant state of stress and panic. They have very few moments where they're able to relax, very few moments of being able to feel safe. And the situation with the Hollows is that they are everywhere. There is, the thing I really liked about it was how claustrophobic and hunted it made me feel. Just the idea of like, I couldn't step a toe outside of my window because there's gonna be something there to bite it off, you know? And it was tense. Oh, it was so tense. And also this series and the individual books themselves feel very, very different from Haunting of Ashburn House and Carol Haunt, in the sense that, one, it's not creepy cozy, it's like creepy, intense, and suspenseful. And also, I really do feel Darcy Coates' passion in this story. I feel like it's just really on every page. And Claire is like so vivid. The world is vivid. How they're discovering what they can do within the confines of the world, how they're going to survive, and also, you know, why these things are happening and how they're happening. It's so good. Like it's, you know, it's believable. It's interesting. And I really, really loved it. Like I could just see this being a full-blown Netflix series. It would be so fascinating. Towards the end, there's a scene where Claire and Doran are just having this conversation, and Doran is like, just go on without me. You can do this, you can make it. And she's like, no, I'm not gonna do this. And and it got to me, you know, where I was actually tearing up. I don't cry that often in books, and I don't like break down crying or nothing. It's like a tear just kind of starts pushing its way out, and I'm like, no, you know. But it kept happening, and I was just like, stop. But that scene of them being together and one being like, go on without me, it's not like a super unique scene or anything, like we've seen it 100 times in the films, but within the book itself, it felt really intense because they'd been through so much, and you feel like you've been through so much. Like I felt like I'd been through just so much, like so much trauma. Darcy Coates, obviously she loves her characters, but she didn't let Doran and Claire like have it easy. And I think that was so great because it made this apocalyptic new world feel real and scary. It was cool. And I think like the theme of this book is hope is dangerous. You know, that's what I would sum this up in a nutshell. Hope is dangerous. If you like Fallout 3, Fallout 4, let's not talk about Fallout 76. But if you like the Fallout series and you like that kind of aesthetic, this has shades of that in there, especially when they're traveling through the country and they're seeing all of the like lack of humanity. It's very similar to, I think, what we saw in the game. You know, we all saw these ghouls and these like mutants that are, you know, sort of around and stuff. So it has a little bit of shades of that, which was fun. This is definitely an emotional roller coaster. And I finished it in like 4 days, I think. I read like 100 pages per day, I think, like that. And never was there a moment where I was bored or felt like it was tedious or anything. It's a thriller, it's a survival horror, it's
a road trip from hell.
It's psychological, it's so many things, and it does it really well. I mean, this is basically sci-fi horror. It's not marketed that way though, which I find to be very interesting. They have this doll theme, you know, like they have the doll themes on all of the covers. I don't know exactly why, but I think maybe it was to attract the audience who maybe likes these character-driven dark stories that have kind of familiar narratives to American Gothic or something. So maybe that was why. So I gave this 5 stars. This is so fun and so awesome and so exciting and emotional and just such a good story. So thank you so much to Poison Pen Press for sending this to me. I really, really appreciate it. And yeah, so that is it for me. We're not that far from Halloween yet, so I hope you guys are getting your costumes together and gonna cause some mischief somehow, some way, even if it's just, you know, putting Post-it notes on the cat's feet, you know, they hate that shit. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me tonight. I really appreciate it. I hope everything goes well for you in the next coming week. If you're on Instagram, you can follow me at Harpies in the Trees. Please take care of yourself, wear a mask, and watch out for each other. I'll talk to you next time.